Collaboration. Now, that's a word that St. Louis needs to hear a lot louder because for far too long, people have tried to tell us one story about this city. They say we don't know how to work together. They say everybody is always pulling each other down. They're trying to get me to believe that St. Louis has a crabs in a barrel mentality. But I believe there's another story, a truer story, a stronger story. The St. Louis I know is full of people who make calls, open doors, share rooms, build tables, pass referrals, create opportunities, and more importantly, connect good people to other good people. The St. Louis I know has barbers who promote small businesses from their chair. It has nonprofit leaders partnering with entrepreneurs. It has creatives showing up to support other creatives. It has organizations making things happen with little resources, limited time, but with unlimited heart. It has people who may not always get the spotlight, but they are always somewhere helping somebody else move forward. And that matters because collaboration is more than networking. Collaboration is trust in motion. Collaboration is saying, I do not have to win by myself. It is understanding that when one person rises the right way, they can create room for someone else to rise too. That is the St. Louis I believe in. Not a city trapped in the old stigma. Not a city defined by division, but a city filled with builders, connectors, bridge makers, and people who understand that the future gets stronger when we all build it together. So maybe the real story is not crabs in a barrel. Maybe the real story is hands reaching back, rooms being opened, resources being shared, movements being built together, and people proving every day that collaboration is not just possible in St. Louis, but that it's already happening. That is a St. Louis worth telling stories about. That is a St. Louis that I'm here to document. And today's guest is strong proof of that kind of collaboration. Today on STL Hustle Insider, we sit down with Calvin Dantley.
Welcome to STL Hustle Insider, the podcast highlighting the people, businesses, and movements building the city from the inside out. Hosted by Cortez Hustle, each episode brings you real conversations, local insight, and the kind of stories that remind us why St. Louis keeps pushing forward. From the neighborhoods to the boardrooms, from the creatives to the community builders, this is where St. Louis stories get the spotlight. So lock in, tap in, and get ready. This is more than a podcast. This is STL Hustle Insider, and it starts now.
Before we bring on today's guest, it's time to go inside STL Black History. This Inside STL Black History moment is powered by St. Louis Virtual Resource Center, supporting the stories, history, and people building St. Louis. St. Louis Virtual Resource Center is where St. Louis area entrepreneurs can go to get all of the resources compiled in one place that will help move their businesses forward. Go to ihustlemg.com/VRC and get instant access to their list of 101 resources every STL entrepreneur should know about. Today, we're going to the Ville, one of St. Louis's most important historic Black neighborhoods. In 1937, a hospital opened there at a time where segregation shaped almost every aspect of public life, including healthcare. For Black St. Louisans, this institution was more than just a building. It was access. It was dignity. It was training. It was community infrastructure. It became a place where Black doctors, nurses, and medical professionals could train, learn, and lead when many other doors were closed to them. And for decades, it stood as one of the most important Black medical institutions in the city and throughout the country. So here's today's Inside STL Black History Trivia question. What was the name of this historic Black hospital in the Ville that trained generations of Black doctors and nurses? And don't Google it, don't cheat. But instead, stick around because we'll reveal the answer at the end of today's show. Now let's get into today's conversation on collaboration. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to introduce you guys to someone who I have come to know as a friend. And when we talk about collaboration and networking and non-gatekeeper culture. This gentleman has introduced me to so many folks, and we've only been rocking. It hadn't even been a full year since I've known Calvin. He shared the stage with me a couple times already, so I'm super excited to introduce St. Louis Hustle Insider to Mr. Calvin Dantley. Now, I ask everybody, Calvin, that come on this show one question to get things started. So I'm going to ask it to you, brother. And the question is this. Who the heck are you?
I'm a lot of things. My name is Calvin Dantley.
Okay.
I am an entrepreneur, dad, husband. I love business. I love people.
Okay.
And then I love sharing my gifts for God.
I love that, man. And when we first met, I heard a lot of good things about you from a couple of different people. It's like, man, you and Calvin probably should connect. You need to meet Calvin. And I told Calvin he needs to meet you, and we finally met. And now I get it. I understand. So talk us through this journey. Are you born and raised in St. Louis?
I'm not. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How long have St. Louis been home?
Moved here in 2011. So going on, wow,
Yeah.
long enough to be home.
Left us long enough to be home. Well, certainly, what do you like about the city in comparison to some other places that you kind of...
I tell people this all the time that St. Louis is very similar to Pittsburgh in a lot of ways.
Okay.
It's a medium-sized city with a small town feel. Everybody asks you what high school you went to.
Yes, that's really important for people to know in St. Louis. That's how we size each other up around here.
We do the same thing in Pittsburgh, and then a lot of people will grow up in Pittsburgh, leave, and then come back. And that's their careers, of the businesses, and what I'm learning about St. Louis more often, the people that I'm meeting. Things.
Gotcha. I love it. So you talked about your love for entrepreneurship. Was this something that Calvin was interested in as a kid, or did it come later on in life to sell candy at school or that kind of thing? Or where did this whole entrepreneurial journey begin for you?
Yeah, I am a third generation entrepreneur. So my grandfather was a pharmacist in Brooklyn, owned pharmacy. My dad was a photographer. He ended up selling his sports photography company to Lifetouch. And so I guess that was where, the seeds were planted. But when I was younger, I did a lot of things. I sold Cutco cutlery.
Okay.
Really successful with that. So I had all these little entrepreneurial endeavors throughout my young adult life that I could really shape my experiences from getting the momentum to.
Gotcha. Do you think that I'm just wondering, growing up second, third generation, what were the conversations around business or just general conversations that now growing up, you can probably link them back to, oh, that was really business talk. I didn't know what they was talking about. They was talking business, and now it made so much sense to you got a fuller understanding of the significance of what Grandpa and Dad actually did.
Yeah. I'll never forget there was one time when Dad was taking pictures, I got to tag along with him. Usually on Saturdays, spend all day at the YMCA, take the sports pictures. And people just kept referring to him as the picture guy.
Okay.
Like, hey, that's the picture guy. That's the picture guy. Go talk to the picture guy. Sure. And I grabbed him at the end of the day and I was like, does it bother you that nobody knows your name? And he's like, no, not at all. Actually, it's really cool that they don't know my name and they refer to me as the picture guy because that's what I do. And that's what I want people to know me as. And so as a kid, that didn't really land as I think it intended in that moment, but many years later, realizing the power of branding and marketing to be known as the picture guy. And now I started to be known as the learning and development guy.
And when I talk to people about what a brand actually is, it's the story that you want being told in someone instead when they think about you. So when they thought about your dad, it's like picture guy, right? So now, as you're building your brand and everything that you're doing is pointing to what you do. So I absolutely love that. So talk us through your journey growing up in a household like that. Eventually, college, no college. How did you matriculate into adulthood?
So I left school. I left home after high school, went to Temple University in Philadelphia. And during that time, I studied economics. It wasn't because I wanted to be an economist at all. Yeah. I just enjoyed math. I enjoyed some of the critical thinking, the problems that we were faced with. Sure. And so just kind of pulled that thread and went through college there, and then didn't use that degree at all. Immediately got into the sales world, working for a couple of different companies, direct sales, business to consumer, business to business. Yeah. Made my way to St. Louis and was working for a big tobacco company, and transitioned from tobacco to health and wellness. And I was working for yes, I was like, and then wait a minute, you're from tobacco. Hey, we know what these products do. Let me help fix some of the people that I kind of helped to break in the other industry.
What was that like, though, making that transition? I don't know what your position or your level of success was with the tobacco company, but was it a hard transition, a different conversation to have in this new space of health versus
No, it really wasn't. It was more, I mean, I think that all of my stops throughout my journey have really given me the pieces to put together to build the business that I'm building now. When I was working for the tobacco company, I had over 100 customers that I needed to see on a monthly basis, selling, not actual products, but strategy. So pricing strategy, training some of the managers and cashiers on how to do the different functions like upselling and cross-selling, things like that. And then when I went to health and wellness, it was building programs. So as I was building programs, that was another piece that I've been able to leverage here this year.
Yes, gotcha. And you said you didn't use your degree. Was that was it just a matter of, hey, I'm just going to take the first job that finds me, and then life started happening, and you're just in this whole other world that you didn't study for?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Okay.
I mean, I knew what I wanted to do. I had started selling Cutco knives in high school, so I knew I wanted to pursue a career as business. Sales was something I was good at, and I was seeing success there, so I wanted to keep down that path. Something that was adjacent, like in that same, under the same umbrella, I guess, to a certain extent. But no, yeah, I took the first job that paid me some money and packed up my things and moved on.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Well, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, I really want to dive into, you said you love people, and it's evident when I see you work a room, and, I see the joy in you in those spaces. So I want to talk about the significance of that and how it's played a part in the growth and development of you personally and also in your business. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And taking us to this commercial break is one of my favorite STL artists of all time, and goes by the name of Latif. And you can catch his music at latiflive.com. And I believe this one is called Halo. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
Shoulders underneath, and it's getting harder to breathe. Never seen it coming, no. Catch me before the fall. Save me from despair. Change.
There is a difference between owning protection and being prepared. Preparation starts with education. At Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy, responsible citizens learn the principles that matter most: safety, law, responsibility, and confidence. From firearm safety education to Missouri CCW classes, Relentless helps you train the right way with professional, judgment-free instruction. Whether you are brand new or ready to sharpen your skills, you do not have to figure it out alone. Protecting yourself and protecting your family should never be based on guesswork. Visit relentlessstl.com or call 314-314-8485 to learn more. Relentless Defensive Firearm Academy. Protect yourself. Protect your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to STL Hustle Insider. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle, coming to you live and direct from the 89 Collective right here in East St. Louis. Illinois. I almost said Missouri. And every time I say St. Louis, Missouri is supposed to follow. But I'm in East St. Louis, Illinois today. And if you are in need of a quaint event space, host some small events, then go to the89collective.com. If you're a business owner and you own a business and you don't have a business mailing address, they also have that service here as well. And then they have memberships where you get a bunch of cool stuff, discounts on a lot of local vendors and all of that kind of stuff. That's the89collective.com. So Calvin, before we went to break, we were talking about, it's often said in St. Louis that this is a crabs in a barrel city. Like it makes me cringe every time I hear people say that. And I guess to some degree that it is true, but when I watch you in a networking event or just around people in general, I see how you light up around people in those spaces. Talk to me about the significance of networking and connecting the way that you do. How does that serve you as an individual, and how does that serve you in business?
Well, and I guess it's only crabs in a barrel if you make it that way.
I think so, man. I think maybe they're speaking from the fact that maybe they'll be willing to pull somebody else down to get themselves up. And I've never seen it though.
Yeah, no, that's not been my experience at all. I'm a very curious person, which is why I do what I do. Why I was able to be effective in sales was because I asked really good questions and I actually listen to people who give me the answers.
Yeah, right.
And it's the same reason I'm effective at developing training and learning resources for companies. Opportunity to ask questions and just listen. And because I'm curious, my wife tells me this all the time. I ask a lot of questions. Yeah, because I want to understand how it works. I want to understand how they identified the problem. I mean, want to understand like where they are in the thing to fix those issues. And just because my mind works that way, I get all of this information. And when I'm meeting people, my mind just randomly connects. Oh, so-and-so has this problem. I just talked to this person and they have a solution that fits that problem. And so it fires to the top of my mind, and those connections, I try to do them as quickly as possible so that people can move out of pain into.
Yeah, and you mean to tell me that there is never any hint of, no, I'm not going to make this introduction. No, because I don't get it. Like it's just an introduction. Like you don't take nothing off my plate if I introduce you to Trey or somebody else, and so you never had a problem with saying, hey, here's a cool person I think we should meet and make it that connection.
There are rules to the game, right?
Okay.
So if I've had a negative experience with somebody, then I want not just to be a good person to do the shit for, right? Sure. But other than that, I really try to make sure that the connections make sense, and I'm not just connecting with people for the sake of a conversation that doesn't add value. Yeah. Time is the most important asset that we have, and we don't get any more of it, right? And so if I'm wasting people's time, then I'm not being able to see the resources that connect.
Yeah, I feel that. So let's pivot a little bit. Master systems. You talked a little bit about your ability to sell and how you now recognize that, hey man, that's a gift. Like that ain't something I just learned to pick up on. I guess that's a gift. So how did that morph into Master Systems? Was this the first company, or did you do some other things and then ultimately land into Master Systems? What was they bringing up?
It's an interesting thing. We started as a learning and development. So that's always been the vision. When in 2012, when we started the business, it was me and actually a group of therapists. Okay. And we were just doing in-person workshops and, training for different small businesses. Didn't really have a whole lot of rhyme or reason to what we were doing. Just young kids out there trying to hustle and figure some things out. Right. Yeah. Did that for a little bit, kind of crashed and burned with that. It wasn't horrible, but just everybody kind of fizzled out. Picked it up again and really wanted to pull that facilitation thread of just calling at me. Then I just did it on my own for a while. All the way up until 2020, I was an on-site specialist, and I would go to these companies all across the country and lead half day or full day workshop. Okay. The running joke is that I drive around and I fly around and just repeat myself. You know, it didn't matter if the room was 10 people or 100 people. They were still going to get that quality learning experience, very engaging. And then COVID happened. And I wanted to figure out a new way to deliver content. So I started getting into animated videos, but when COVID hit, all of the other stuff I was doing dried up because we weren't doing much Nickelodeon. And so went all in on the learning space, started with animated videos and built out full courses, got into voiceover work. And so, yeah, just really kind of put this all together and use the content that I had been facilitating to give us our first learning live.
Gotcha. I love that because one thing kind of changed my life. I stumbled into somebody's training, a guy by the name of Trevor Ox in an organization called Black City Duo. I don't know how I got into this private zone room in this private group or something, but I'm always when I'm like you, always asking questions, always trying to learn. But I'm in this room and I'm like, Black CEO, it sounds like my kind of party. Let's go in and see what they're doing. And he said something that really transformed the way I see the entire world. He said, there's more than what you know and what you do. And so, wait a minute. And he started to expound on it and break it down. It's like, yeah, what you do has a cap because of time. But what you know is unlimited, especially with technology and your ability to digitize it. Now you can sell what you know an infinite amount of times. And I was like, oh, so that's how I end up into courses and digital products and all of that kind of stuff. So it sounds like he had a similar epiphany. Hey, I might not be able to get into a room physically, but I can get into the room still. That's because I've recorded myself. Man, that is super, super cool. So when it comes to the trainings and things that you're doing, who are you really targeting? Like what would be a good fit for master assistance type training or course or whatever?
Yeah, so I mean, we serve a lot of different types of trees, but we've really niched down to focus on that first time manager.
Okay.
So folks that are really high performers as individual contributors, they're the leader of that department taps that person and says, "Hey, we need you to lead a team now." And so these folks are tasked with leading people that they were once peers with.
Yeah.
And so it's a completely different skill set, leading people for the first time. And so you've got a toolkit, 50 courses in the library focused specifically on supporting new managers, first-time managers as they finish.
I love that because that happened to me in the corporate space that I eventually grew. I tell the joke that I was in direct sales and network marketing for 15 years and I didn't make no money in that. But because I was serious about the personal growth and self-development, I got all of the raises and promotions on my job because I was reading the books, I was listening to the tapes, I was transforming. So I kind of moved into that space and ultimately ended up having to lead a team and all of that kind of stuff. And it is a different space when, hey, I was right here with these guys. Now all of a sudden I'm here and I got to have hard conversation with some of these folks. So how is it when you guys are identifying those folks and then the types of training? What would you say that the toughest transition for those people are?
I think there's a lot of pieces, right? It really depends on that person's experience before they step into it.
Right. Okay.
Right. So as a first-time manager, you're tasked with everything from essentially dealing with budgets and organizational strategy to the accountability, the one-on-ones, the performance improvement.
Yeah, spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Man, what the heck is this? Well, you got to track this. You got to track. No, I didn't want to do parts of the spreadsheet.
So it really depends on what they have when they step into that role.
Yeah.
We need to help fill gaps. One of the biggest things that always comes up are the conversations around performance of people, right? And like holding people that you were once friendly with accountable in a different way.
Yeah.
And setting the standard there is something that we talk about. So what does that look? How do you mind their voices, man?
Create that boundary. Hey, this ain't that no more. Not here. Not for 29 to 5. Like after hours, it's whatever. But and I'd imagine that for me, there was an assumption that my gift was not a gift, but something that I learned and picked up. So you're thinking when you move into that role that you can just transfer your production onto everybody else, but they don't have your gift. They're not asking a million questions like
They're getting something.
they don't have your work ethic. They like it's a reason. So that really kind of helped me to see the difference in between, something that I worked for and something that God just gave me for free. And everybody got to find their own thing. And it sounds like you found your thing, man. I'm super proud to know you, and I've watched you train. I've seen you in action, and it's been an amazing thing. And we're gonna pivot one more time and talk St. Louis, right? I ask everybody who comes onto the show to give me their top 5 all STL. Now, this could be top 5 St. Louis foods. This could be top 5 St. Louis places to go, people to know, organization. It could be whatever. It could be a combination of all of those things. But if I gave you 5 things that if I'm coming to St. Louis and I'm not from around here, what are the top 5 things I need to pay attention to? Okay.
The parks.
The parks?
Louis
Okay.
Park is beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
And so they've got a lot of things there that you can do. And so that would include like Art Hill and the Jewel Box and some of those different places around St. Louis. I'm an outdoors guy.
So that, okay.
Got to do some outdoor stuff.
Gotcha.
I'll say the Arch and both sides of the river. Outdoor again, right? But on the Illinois side is Malcolm Mark Memorial Park. So
I'm not familiar. Okay.
go check it out and you'll see exactly what I mean. Yeah. So that's 2. Let's see here. Everybody says new noise.
And you're not feeling the emotions.
But I do love the barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay. And get down with a few different places. Yeah. I try a bunch of sugar fire patties, even out Hendrix out by Maristar. So a lot of barbecues.
So you got barbecue, you got the Arch, both sides of the river. You got the parks, including the different. I know Forest Park is pretty than Central Park.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3.
Let's see here. You know what? I do enjoy sports, and there is, obviously with the Cardinals, but even from my son is 9, so if you got kids that say yes, we want to get them into sport, like there's no shortage of track to soccer, baseball. There's no shortage of sports activities for kids in the city. Yeah. And then that actually tees up the last one is there's so many free attractions. You could spend a month here and go do a bunch of free stuff and still have a long list. So there's a lot to do.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So that is Calvin Dantley's top 5 all STL. Well, brother, it has been a pleasure. We do one more thing before I let you get out of here. We do this segment called freestyle. This is why I beatbox. Hey, you drop it right now. No, I'm kidding. We're not going there, but as I am busting or developing these journalistic chops, I don't always ask the right questions. So freestyle is a opportunity for you to speak to anything that I may have not asked that may bring up some stuff that you want to share and you want people to know. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds to speak whatever you want people to know about Calvin, Master Systems, or whatever the people you want people to know. So this is freestyle right here, the Calvin Dantley edition. Let's get it.
Well, I'll stick to the theme of our conversation today, and I'll say if you are a business owner in St. Louis that's looking to grow, looking to shift your perspective from growth to scaling, there are a ton of resources, and I have been the benefactor of so many of them. And it really just takes, going to the networking events, having conversations with people and asking them what kind of resources are there. You can find me on LinkedIn, Calvin Dantley. My business is Master Systems. We have a learning library that we're launching on July 1st for sale.
Nice.
It'll go live August 1. But yeah, we really want to be a workforce development partner for the region and continue to connect people with resources and opportunities.
Absolutely love it. Drop the mic on. Boom. That's how we do it.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I told you that Calvin Dantley was a shining example of collaboration. And before we get out of here, I got to give you the answer to today's Inside STL Black History question. Earlier, we asked, what was the name of the historic Black hospital in the Ville that trained generations of Black doctors and nurses? And I ain't gonna lie, you ain't from St. Louis if you don't know the answer to this one, because it is none other than the legendary Homer G. Phillips Hospital. Homer G. Phillips Hospital opened in 1937 at 2601 North Whittier Street, and it served St. Louis's Black community during segregation and became a major training ground for Black doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals. Its impact was bigger than healthcare alone. It represented access, dignity, professional excellence, and community infrastructure in a city where segregation tried to limit all four. So, when we remember Homer G. Phillips Hospital, we remember what happens when a community fights for institutions that serve its people and shape its future. That's your Inside STL Black History moment for today, powered by St. Louis Virtual Resource Center. Remember, go to the link in the description and grab access to their free 101 resources every St. Louis area entrepreneur needs to know about. Until next time, folks, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.